Hey, Gun Talk Hunters. On this episode of Gun Talk Hunt, you're going to be listening to the sweet voice of Mike Hearn. He is a sponsored hunter and absolute professional in every sense of the word. And he's working with Kifaru International and Born Primitive Clothing. So check him out. You're going to want to listen to this one. It's a little longer, but it's well worth it. Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt. All right, welcome to all you Gun Talk Hunters. I'm your host, KJ. Today, very special episode because it's my brother from another mother, Mr. Mike Hearn, on the show today. Mike, how you doing, dude?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. It's always a good day to see your bright smiling face. But this episode is brought to you by Ruger.com to learn more, and Range Ready Studios. If you're not getting training, then you're failing life. Just get training and you'll win life, and that's all good. Okay. I've been trying to get him on for probably the last month, 2 months, maybe 3 or 4 months. But Mike Hearn traveled with me to Alaska. My first experience with him was, dude, this just giant smile running across the airport, like, hey, you KJ. Like, that's it. And I soon found out what an animal he actually is. So Mike, give the folks, give the Gun Talk Hunters out there a little glimpse behind your life, what you do, where you came up from. Just give us a little bit of some stories.
Well, yeah. So I grew up in upstate New York, where the men are men and the sheep are scared. Everyone, when I tell people I'm from upstate New York, everyone's like, New York City.
Yeah, no, get a rope.
No, it's dairy farms. Like, the further north you go, the more the banjo music starts to play, right? I mean, it is.
So you're from banjo country.
Yeah, you might as. I mean, I'm telling you, you might as. The further north in New York State you go, it's like you. I don't know what happens, but a paradox happens and it shifts, and you feel like you're in the deep South. Minus everyone doesn't have a Southern accent. Like, there's junk cars decorating the front lawns. It's country.
It's real America, right?
Yeah, it is real America. It's a great place, minus, the gun laws and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I grew up there, small town, not a lot going on, right? Anyone that's grown up in a small town usually knows there's nothing to do. So you either get out of town or you stay there and you keep doing the same stuff, which I was getting in trouble because getting in trouble is one of the only fun things to do in a small town. So that's how I spent my free time. So I ended up joining the military straight out of high school and then living all over the world, and kind of reconnected with hunting in, let's say, 2013, when I finally got stationed at a base that had a really good hunting program. Because I hadn't hunted for the first almost 6 to 10 years of my career, just because it's so busy going overseas to Afghanistan, coming home, training. And then I was stationed in Italy in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And Fort Bragg, I mean, there is hunting there, but it's not great. It's a huge muscle movement to go out there and get onto animals, whitetail in that location, a lot of small deer, not a big population of deer. So when I got to Fort Benning and I could pig hunt and all year round, right? Like, you just
chasing pigs.
Yeah, chase pigs all year. They've got a pretty good whitetail population on the base, turkey hunting. So I was like, all right, let's do this. And then that kind of reignited the fire. And I went kind of head first in it, and been trying to figure out how to make a living after the military, working in the hunting industry or something that make a living doing what I love, or working with rad people like you.
I don't know about that, but I mean, because 2013, before that, you were doing a different kind of hunting. I mean, essentially.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's what you were doing.
Yep, 100%.
So are you? What was the military like for you? I mean, and you're still active, right?
Yep, still active. I got about 3 years until I retire, until I'm actually retired. I hit 17 years. A month from yesterday, I will hit 17 years. So May 16th, basically,
Yeah.
my 17-year mark. So I got 3 years until I can fully retire from active duty service. Really, I've been doing the math. I'm already thinking about it, right?
Jeez.
Really, it's like 2 years and 3 months until I can start my terminal leave or my like terminal vacation, use the rest of my vacation days. And then I'm gonna do what the military calls like a career skills program. And I'm
Okay.
actually gonna go to Wyoming and I'm gonna work for Aaron for the last 6 months of my career. It'll be an internship.
And that, yeah,
I'm
an
saying that
internship, like skills training. He's going to be hunting with Aaron Snyder. And I mean, I guess kind of transitioning into your hunting career and how you've kind of set yourself up. A lot of big stuff has been happening for you. You kind of wrote for Black Rifle Coffee Company, like you kind of wrote for their content arm. And then you recently got hooked up with Bergara as one of their sponsored guides, hunters, like kind of that program.
yeah, yep.
And so I guess one thing that most people want to know, and before we go diving into like Kifaru and Aaron and your work with them, um, one question that everybody always gets, man, and they ask me like, wow, how do you become a sponsored like shooter or a sponsored hunter? Like, what was your journey like to get there? Because it's not easy work and it's a lot of late nights because you're also a photographer, you're a videographer, you're an editor, you're a writer. So you're a man of many skills, but you found a way to make them work.
Yeah, yeah. It's a tough question to answer for guys, and I hate the term influencer and I ambassador is kind of okay, but I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the terms that are out there. I attach a
You're
negative.
not an Insta huntress.
Yeah, Huntress, right? I hate that. I hate that name, Huntress. My I don't got the chest for it, but
No, I don't know. You're hitting that mountain tough pretty hard. So
that's
keep
pretty rad. We'll talk about that too.
yeah,
But so from my standpoint, right? Like when I was young and like got into hunting and started like actually like hunting, right? Well,
yeah,
the first thing you got to do is if you want to be somebody in any industry, you got to know what the heck you're doing, right? Like
yeah,
you've got to have the knowledge and skills to back it up. So for backpack hunting, specifically like Western hunting, adventure hunts, the stuff we did in Alaska, all that stuff's right in my wheelhouse. I already had all those skills. I just had to learn the animal behavior part because I've
right.
lived out of a backpack my entire career. That's what I do in the military. I'm a light infantryman. So I was a paratrooper. We jump in, we put our backpacks on, and we
And
go
you
to work.
go.
Right? Yeah. So I already had a lot of those skills. It was just learning the new equipment and fine tuning everything. But I didn't want to be an influencer, right, or a talking head on Instagram. So I looked for ways where I could add value. And the first way I thought of was writing because I kind of like to write. I did good in English class. I'm not a good writer. I don't feel like I'm a good writer, but um, uh, writing is I think that's one way where you can add some validity to your voice, right? Because anybody can get on Instagram and be like, "Hey, look at this iPhone 13. I'm going to unbox this iPhone
Yeah.
13. Look at it. It's so cool. This is the coolest iPhone 13 ever." But if you write an article and it gets published by a publication, that's now an enduring document. Like if someone
Yeah.
Googled iPhone 13 and I wrote a review on the iPhone 13, everyone can look at my words and my words are scrutinized, whereas someone just doing a quick Instagram story or posting it up on Instagram, like that's not going to come up in your Google search.
Right.
So that was kind of the first way that I found that I could add value. And that's really writing's where I learned I could add value to brands. And then writing was byproduct of writing. I remember watching Aaron start to get into photography, and I'm like,
Well,
get out of here with that.
I don't know, man. He's pretty dang good. Like if
Yeah,
you see
yeah,
some of
he's
his stuff,
good.
oh, he's got an
But
eye.
but I remember watching him get into it and thinking like, I'm not good. Photography, that's not me. No. And then once I started writing, I was like, holy crap, if I had good pictures, I can sell my terrible writing way easier with good pictures because everyone likes pictures.
Yeah.
So
You're the picture book kid in class that was like, man, these pictures are awesome. I don't know what the words say, but man, the pictures really
yeah,
tell a story.
yeah. That's kind of where how photography came around, right? And then videography, I thought at one point that it would be way easier to tell a story with video than
Hmm.
writing because writing sucks. It takes a lot of my brain power.
Dude, it takes a lot. I mean, dude, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like writing is an art. Like, and I'm in your same boat. I am not a good writer, but it gives, like what you said, it's like gives you a voice and it sits there and you're able to capture what you really want to say. Might not be the most intellectual, but it's your voice. And
Yeah.
and to blend that, the imagery, and now you moved on to video. Like video is a whole nother animal.
Yeah. So video, I thought video was my way out of writing though.
Oh no.
When I was naive. I was like, oh
No.
yeah, video. And then I quickly learned that it's not just the shots or the video. It's not just the capture of the video, right? You got to learn
Right.
how to edit it and put it all together in audio and tell a story. And that I just plain don't have time to learn that. Like I've got an idea of how to do it, but like learning how to use Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve or one of these other editing
Hmm.
programs, that's a steep learning curve. And I just don't have the time with it with like being full-time active duty. So I know the shots to get in the video and how to record video assets and make them look pretty and make them look cool. Like I have a really good understanding of that, and I have a good
Yeah.
understanding of how to edit and tell the story. I just don't have a. I'm not the best at using the technology to edit. So
Well, because I look at the editors that we've got here, like in at Gun Talk, and they're so fast. Like they can go, oh, you want a 3 minute video? Their 3 minute video that I give them like 8 hours of footage will take them like somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours to do, like really quick. And they can tell a great story. And then I get a whole, like, if I were to try to edit that, it would take me 5 days, maybe,
yeah,
to get that much out of
be a
it. And I
lot
don't
of
have that time.
yeah, there'd be a lot of googling how to do this and how to
Oh,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a learning curve, right? And it's having the time to do it and putting the time into it,
So,
which I just don't have that right now. But
so I guess my question is when you're transitioning out and working with Aaron over at Kifaru, are you, will that free up enough time to where is that something that you're interested in learning and diving in more? No.
no,
No,
um,
immediately.
I
Nope.
I know enough. I know enough to like do what I need to do, and enough to where I can add value. But I'm not, I'm a people person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like you and I are very similar. I'm a people
Oh
person. I
yeah.
like interacting with people. Video editors generally, they're usually okay with people, but they're at a desk at a computer. They're not
Yeah.
out there. They're not out there with the folks.
Yeah.
So
And that's it. I think you're 100% right. It takes a special person to be able to sit behind a desk for, 8 to 12 hours a day and just, man, just take video and turn it into this beautiful like piece of work. Like it takes a special person to do that.
yep. But so back to the how do you end up getting sponsored, right? I started collecting all these skills and finding all these ways to add value. I've only been sponsored by one company, and that's Bagara. And they're super awesome people. So in August, before you and I went to Alaska, my buddy runs a production company called Copeland Creative.
Okay.
They produce a ton of hunting content. They produce a ton of TV shows. I think they're some of the best in the game. So
Yeah.
we've been friends. I've done some writing for them, like some voiceover. I actually, when they launched the Bagara, their small batch this year, I
Oh yeah.
did,
Yeah.
I gave them the base of the writing for the script. Like
Oh,
I took a
cool.
stab at it. So like as they're like the voiceover stuff for the cool video of the
Yeah.
rifle pulled out of the box and all that stuff. I gave them kind of the baseline for that. So one, networking and getting to know people. People want to work with people they like, right? So you've got to be a decent human and a
Yeah.
likable guy, but you also have to have skills to back it up or ways to add value to the company. So Bagara was doing a Bagara experience like 10 minutes away from my house at a range right outside of the gate at Fort Carson here where I work. And the videographer that was supposed to film it had another hunt to film. So my buddy
Mm.
Caleb called me and he's like, "Hey man, we need a video guy. We'll pay you. Go down there. We just need like this is like going to be a YouTube, like a gun shooting montage, just capture the whole experience."
Yeah.
So not really telling a huge story, super easy lift as far as video goes.
Right.
So I went down there and filmed that, worked with the entire Bagara team, the marketing team, some of the engineers that designed the guns, customer service guys. I worked with the whole crew. The CEO was out there, former Army guy, like went to dinner with them afterwards. So I worked with a bunch of their ambassadors or influencers or sponsored competitive shooters were there. So I worked with the whole team and shot video all day and took photos all day and got to know everybody and I guess they liked me and then they kind of looked at what I was doing on social media and thought I wasn't super stupid must be.
Well, the thing about that is that I don't think like a lot of the young people growing up right now in this age understand like how much of a negative effect their social medias when they're younger can have a play on down the line.
Yeah.
And like if you look at your social medias, and I mean it is a class act. It's you doing the stuff. It's not, and you're having fun with it. Like it's not some like corporate site where it's very tailored to
Yeah.
a certain audience. It's just you doing life, and that's what I think is great about it. And you show your works throughout the history, and you see the development of your skills. I mean, it's like you're stacking arrows in your quiver,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is one of the
Exactly.
biggest things that you can do. And I love the fact that you say you provide value to a company. Like, what are you bringing to the table? Because we see it every freaking day. Um, like selling, a fishing lure and it's just TNA. Like that's all it is. Like
Yeah.
what value does that bring to the company? Like I see none of that in early early influencers, like if you want to call them that. One of the biggest frustrations to me is the whole influencer. Like, don't get me started.
Oh,
Like it's
me
so
too.
frustrating.
Me too. It drives me nuts. There's guys in the hunting industry that like I there's guys that don't know how to hunt, but like we Aaron and I were talking about this when we were in Texas. There's a guy that we all follow. I'm not going to say his name or anything, but there's a guy we all follow and know of. And I found out like his first hunt was not that long ago.
Yeah.
He didn't really know what the heck he was doing, but that dude will tell you everything you need to know about a Kifaru backpack and how it should be used and where it should be used, but they don't have the experience to back it up. And
Right.
that's the biggest thing that like drives me nuts in the hunting industry. And I don't know that it will ever change, is there's a ton of people that don't have the experience to back up the stuff that they're preaching or
Yeah.
talking. Like
Yeah.
I've seen there's recently a guy that's come on the scene in the industry and he's talking about how awesome this brand of screwdriver is. And he's talking about it on a podcast like this that he does just in front of his computer about how
Right.
awesome the screwdriver is. And I immediately go look at his page and I'm like, all right, let's see, has he put any furniture together with that screwdriver or in that
Right.
is knife? Like how many animals have you cut up? Have you taken that knife into the field? No, you're just touting it because it's a cool kid brand
Yeah.
and you're trying to get noticed by the brand.
Yeah.
Then you got people
That's true.
that pay for then you got people that pay for followers.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that to me is just out like that. I think that's like a character flaw. Like they might be a
Oh,
good
100%. That's
but
validation for themselves. Like they
yeah,
just have to have a big following because they think that just having followers gets you in the door to some places. And some places it is, but it might not be the company that you want to be associated with.
yeah.
Like they'll take anything that comes their way. Like I know a
Yeah.
lot of people that way. But
And I would say the other thing is building a network, right? Like you
Yeah.
got to be likable and you have to add value, and that's how you build a network. Because if people don't like you and you don't add value or don't move the needle,
Yeah.
want you around. But as far as followers go, like there was a point in my life, right? And as I matured, I realized that doesn't matter. Like I was like, man, I need a ton of followers. Like I want more followers. Who doesn't deep down inside? We're all a little narcissistic, right? Like everybody likes a little attention. But I've come to realize like having the right followers matters more so than having a ton of followers, right?
Yeah.
You can have a bunch of random people following you, but like I've got like if you got some key players following you and they see that you're legit, like you or
Yeah.
Snucker or John Barklow at Sitka, like I've come to realize like I sure I don't have a huge following, but I have the right people following me,
Yeah.
right? They
That's
see the work I'm doing and they see the lifestyle I'm living and the work I'm doing, and they're like, that dude's legit. We want to work
yeah.
with.
Well, and it's like who you it's always like what's in life. Like it's like who you surround yourself is what's how your path is going to go. Like it's the people
Yeah.
around you that are building you up. And I don't know why, but man, like here lately, my Instagram page has been like, oh, this like hot chick is following you now. And I'm like, hold on a second. Something's not right here. And then I go look and she has like 2 posts and I'm like, not today, Al Qaeda.
Yep.
Not
Blocking.
today.
Not
No.
today, ISIS.
But hey, we're going to jump in here with a quick break. And on the other half, we're going to talk about some of the companies that Mike's working with. So we're talking with Mike Hearn. We're going to talk about Kifaru packs. We're going to talk about Born Primitive clothing, and probably a little bit more about how he stays in shape for the mountains with Mountain Tough. All that on the other side of this break. All right, thank you to our sponsors. Hey, the Ruger SFAR. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it because I talk on it here a lot. They're coming out with a 6.5 Creedmoor, which is really cool. It's going to be under 7 pounds in an AR platform. What this is going to do for you is those fans of that 6.5 Creedmoor, this is your chance to get a lightweight AR-10 rifle. All right. These don't come around that often, but Ruger has figured it out. And if you want to learn more about the Ruger SFAR small frame auto loading rifle, you need to find out more at Ruger.com. RangeReadyStudios.com is your place to go if you want to learn training in firearms. You don't have to be a tactical expert to join one of these classes. We offer everything from FPD experiences, ladies only classes, semi-auto operator 1 classes, and a whole host of others. So find your next training course at rangereadystudios.com. All right. Hey, we're back with Mike Hearn. Dude, just an outdoorsman. Probably the thing that I remember most about when I met Mike and my time in the Alaska on Kodiak with Mike is he's a mountain goat. Probably one of the strongest individuals I've ever met. And he doesn't stop. Like, I don't know if that's the military in him or is that his just willingness to succeed in life. But my gosh, dude, like you put me to shame and I thought I was in shape, but not for like for a flatlander. I'm in okay shape, but dude, you're on another level and you're on a whole new program. So you're working with Kifaru, you're working with Born Primitive, and you're doing a Mountain Tough, which is an app-based fitness program developed for backpack country hunters. Like if you want to get in shape for a hunt, this is the way to do it. And dude, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Mountain Tough.
So yeah, I wrote an article about them and they gave
Mm-hmm.
me to write the article, they gave me like a free year of checking out their app. So after hunting season, I started going through their programming. I'm going to pull it up too, so I don't screw it up. But I started going through their
Yeah.
programming. I kind of played around in the app and looked at their programming and was like, this is right up my alley, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say I like CrossFit, right? But I like functional fitness or fitness with a goal, right? I'm in the military, so all of our fitness is always outcome based, right? Like
Right.
we do PT every day in the Army. Like PT is 6:30 in the morning to 7:30 usually. Now that I'm in the job I'm in, I get to do it whenever I want. But so PT has been a huge part of my life. So looking at the program, I was like, this is cool. They have a very rigid, they have periodization
Yep.
and a really good structure to the program. So I started after hunting season. They have an in-season strength or in-season
Yep.
like maintenance program. So I started doing that when I had time and was feeling up for it because my body was pretty run down after hunting season. Um, but then on the November to February program is their backcountry hunter postseason strength.
Yeah.
So that's like postseason, right? They're rebuilding strength. That's all. Like there's a little bit of, well, there's still a lot of cardio, but a lot for me.
Not much of a fan of cardio, I
I don't
guess.
love cardio, so there's a good bit. So they've got postseason strength. So I started the postseason strength program. I did that. I loved it. I like the way that it's not all the same.
Yeah.
And I like the way the structure and the progression builds in the lifts. And you're tracking, you're tracking your 1 rep maxes, and you're watching your stuff go up. Like they give you
Yeah.
instructions for every workout. Like make sure you write down how much time it took you to execute this AMRAP workout, like
Yeah.
or whatever. So you're tracking your stats. Now I'm in the Backcountry Hunter Spring Training Camp, which is their March to April program. They have an elite spring. I don't know. That's the same date range, but
Yeah.
then they have Backcountry Hunter preseason prep. I haven't looked at that one yet, but like the way that the programs are working so far, I'm a big fan. So
Yeah.
I got
I've been messing with it a little bit, and I've really enjoyed it as far as like just keeping me honest and building the right muscles, because one thing that I notice every time I head out west for a hunt is my hip mobility and my hip strength. Like that seems to be the area where I have the most problems, is in the hips. And this
yeah.
does a really good job of building that foundation. At least what I've experienced is building the foundation, getting you more mobile, and building that strength.
Yep. Yeah. And it like I said, it's a fun program. If you like, it's a lot of functional lifts. It's a lot
Yeah.
of you're not just if I've like been deployed to Afghanistan or whatever, and we have prison gyms. So all we're doing is like curls and bench press. And I get bored with that stuff really quick.
Yeah.
Like that kind of working out. If I don't have a fitness goal in mind or like a outcome that I'm looking for, then
Yeah.
I lose motivation to work out. So this is so far it's been a great program, and I'm
It's
super happy
it's
with it.
good, man. I highly recommend it. It's Mountain Tough. For you guys who want to, look into it, go check them out. But so Kifaru, let's get into that because they just recently launched their Bedlam pack. And it has been sold out. I mean, since it launched, and it was sold out within, what was it, 2 hours or less?
Under 3 minutes is sold out.
Oh, okay. Under 3 minutes. So, it's a good one. When I get a text from Mike, and it's like, have you seen this? And it's under 3 minutes, it's sold out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding. What makes Kifaru different? And I know Aaron leads a great team over there, but I mean, with all the packs, and there's a lot of great packs out there, there's a lot of people who are dedicated to a brand. But I got turned on to Kifaru when I started heading out west, and it's just kind of been a standard for me. And I guess I'm just a Kifaru disciple. I mean, that's really because the packs are functional. And they fit, like, I mean, they have something for everyone, it seems like. What just separates them?
I think it's a combination of one, the product and the people, right?
Yeah.
So the people are heavily involved in the products, right? They're a business, so they have to make money.
Yeah.
But like Aaron, a good example is this Bedlam launch. Aaron and I, Aaron tests those bags himself, right? So
Right.
when they get a prototype, the part owner and president and CEO of the company is wearing that backpack in the field, like beating it up, trying to break it, trying to figure out weak points, trying to figure out if it's functional. Like he is heavily involved in the development, right? He's not just some guy drinking scotch and collecting the paycheck. And the amount of time that Aaron spends in the field, but their designer Ryan Bender, he's a freaking genius I mean, he's a genius, but and he has some wazoo ideas, and it's usually him and Aaron going back and forth to design a backpack because Bender hunts and whatnot, but Aaron's got like he's got the huge knowledge base, so they kind of go back and forth trying to figure it out. But I would just say it's the way that they build the product and the way that they test their products, and then
it's 100% American made.
Yeah,
I mean, everything. They're not outsourcing. I don't think they outsource anything.
Nothing. Nope.
I mean,
even the
which is difficult to do.
It's super difficult to do. Which is, a lot of people complain about the price point, and that's why the price point's high, because they're paying American wages. Like it's American people sewing the packs together. It's not.
I mean, it's out of Wyoming. So the reason why people are complaining about these packs and the prices of them is because, like, if you buy one of their duplex light frames, if you buy that, you're looking at like $450, and then you buy the pack after that, and you're ranging anywhere from, I mean, $325, $350, somewhere around in there. But after you have your frame, you just buy the pack. Like if you need another adventure or something, you just buy the pack. It's not like you have to go in and buy another frame. So I think there's an associated cost with the initial jump into a good quality pack, but after that, man, it's a lighter load to bear.
Yeah, and it pays off too, because the frame is so comfortable and so modular, that one, the frame is like that's what everyone's like, I don't have 400 something bucks for a frame, and I'm like, well, once you get the frame, the bags aren't bad. It's a $200 to $300 pack, and you can get different packs, and
switching them out's easy. I mean, it makes sense. Because I run a 44 mag right now, for the longer hunts, or the 2 to 4 day hunts, right around in there. But so why would someone what would someone need the Bedlam for? Like, because I'm looking at the 44 mag, and like it's really close in specs, but I know when I look at the specs, like that Bedlam would probably fit me better for a hunt like that.
Yeah. So the Bedlam, I'm super excited about it because it's a combination of my two favorite backpacks. The Reckoning is a backpack. They still have it on the website. It's got a full zip down the center, which I really love for loading quarters and like elk quarters, because you can unzip that sucker and then lay the quarters in there and get them positioned just right, and then zip it up and get the compression straps just right. And you can really lock that load in the golden area right between your the bottom of your shoulder blades and the top of your back. So that was one of my favorite packs ever. And then the other pack that I really liked from them was the Cavern, which was an asymmetrical backpack. It was like half of the Hoodlum, basically. So it was very similar to the Hoodlum, that the pack that I had in Alaska. It only had one zipper pouch on one side, and then you had a zipper entrance, but it wasn't a full zipper on the other side that was clean. So the Bedlam kind of took that asymmetrical design from the Cavern, which I stopped using the Cavern because Kifaru stopped selling it, and I got tired of people messaging me saying they wanted that backpack and it wasn't on the website, and having to tell them it wasn't. So I had to start using the pack that they actually sold. But they took that asymmetrical design with the one zipper pocket on I think it's the sides are relevant, but with the one zipper like spotting scope pocket, and the clean side, and then they added that full zip, so from the top of the snow collar all the way down to that Nalgene pocket, the pack opens up like all the way up, which makes it super easy for packing or accessing gear in your pack, and loading quarters once you hopefully get an animal on the ground and got to start putting weight in there.
Man, I think I think that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at design, and when you say a clean side with a full zip, that makes a lot of sense for that. And it does not have a load shelf. Is that correct?
It does. It
It
does have
does
a.
have a load shelf. All right. Yeah, but
Um,
you never use a load shelf, do you?
I don't love. I'm only if I'm using a load shelf. Like there's some. I went way too far into the woods and trying to get as much out as I can in one rip. I don't like the load shelves because if you're one, it's the way the compression strap. It doesn't matter what backpack you're using. The way the compression straps are in those backpacks, it's way better to carry the heavyweight quarters and meat inside of the bag versus on the load shelf.
Yeah.
If I'm using the only time a load shelf is going to be something I use is if I've got all my gear and I'm trying to get all my gear and some of the meat out because I'm not probably going
Yeah.
to, depending on the size of the animal, I'm probably not going to get it all of it out. But when you're doing that, even when you're doing that, what that does is here's your back. You put that heavy quarter up against your back, and then you have all this gear way out here. So it really like the way
It,
that you're carrying that load is not fun and not comfortable.
well,
So
it's
that
taxing that structure, like your frame. Like it's
yeah,
taxing your posture, and it's
yeah.
you're having that's why you end up and your back's hurting and everything else because you're not carrying your meat out properly and
Mhm.
you're not planning ahead. And that's one thing that was one of the funniest things that I've ever seen is him hiking, Mike sitting here hiking out a a full caribou, a full caribou in what the pack you were using was the hoodlum, right?
Yep, the hoodlum.
Yeah, a full caribou in the hoodlum, and that was crazy because that pack had to weigh almost 120 pounds
Yeah.
at least,
I
at the
bone
very
I
least.
I boned that sucker out. I
Yeah,
did. I got to be enough to bone.
that was unreal. But yeah, the
Well,
bedlam's new.
the bed, yeah, and the other thing that I really sold me on it was adding those pockets. So it's
Hmm.
got that they call it a hellbender style front pocket, which is just it's got a little bit of stretchy four-way stretch material, and then they have a couple buckles where you can kind of cinch that pocket down, and that pocket's good for like you got rain gear,
Yeah.
you're out backpack hunting or your backpack rain cover or whatever you're hunting, and you get caught in a rainstorm, you want to put like wet stuff, but not you don't want to put it inside your backpack.
Yeah.
You just kind of stuff it in that pouch till you get back to camp. And or when we were playing with it down in Texas, you can loosen up those straps if you got a rifle with a collapsible stock,
Yeah.
uh, like that new rifle that you had from Nosler. You can take that collapse that stock and slide it in
Hmm.
there. It rides like really good in that pocket.
See, you're really selling me hard on this
Or
bedlam.
or
That's
if or if you want to carry your rifle fully extended, or
yeah.
say you standard stock and you don't have a collapsible stock, the Nalgene bottle pocket on the other
Yeah.
side, you can carry it on your right side. You put the butt stock in that Nalgene bottle pocket, and then use the compression straps to strap the rifle to your pack, and you got it on the side.
See,
So you got a couple rifle carry options that are like those. I just wrote an article about it, but the pack is not made. Those pockets weren't necessarily designed for carrying rifles, but they're really like they work.
efficient at it.
Yeah. So
Well, okay. I just need to preface this by saying this pack is sold out, but you go on to Kifaru.com and go to the Bedlam series. You can have them notify you when it's available, and I just did that. So that will be, you know,
yeah,
worthy for you guys to check out for
I
sure. And you guys are doing, I mean, Kafar's doing tents, they do, sleep systems, they do accessory pouches and everything, which were awesome. But they do a lot of stuff, and you
yeah
guys test it all.
they beat the crap out of it before it comes to market, and there's a bino harness coming out. So
There
they
is. I saw
they're,
that, and
they're
it's
getting ready to launch a
like,
bino harness.
yeah.
I
When's that
think
coming out?
retail. Soon. I should know, but I don't. But
Because I was looking because I saw you guys kind of tease it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's interesting. Um, because here's the deal: when you're buying from a small, like I would say Kifaru is a big company, but they're small. Like they do a lot with a little.
Yeah.
And what is interesting is that they're able to maneuver very quickly, whereas bigger companies, like there's a lot of processes that happen that we aren't familiar with behind the scenes, and it takes them a long time to move around. But Kifaru, so they utilize all this different gear, but they can go, yes, we need a bino harness, and they can create it like that,
Yeah.
which is super cool. And these guys are out in the field. I would say these guys are out in the field probably. And what do you say? Aaron's in the field probably what, 200, 250 days a year?
At least 200. Yeah.
I
And then
mean,
Kenneth is one of their, Kenneth is a super, Kenneth and Dan Collins are two younger kids they hired, and these kids
mhm,
are freaking awesome. Dan was like top class traditional bow shooter. Moved out to Wyoming from Tennessee to work for Kifaru, and then Kenneth. I think Kenneth moved from Oregon, but basically when
yeah,
Kifaru was moving to Wyoming, they're both like in their early 20s, young,
yeah,
just hard charging kids that wanted jobs in the outdoor industry, but they did it the right way. These two are both perfect examples. Dan is world class traditional bow shooter, and now he's kind of doing the compound competition archery. And Kenneth moved to Wyoming, not knowing if Kifaru was going to hire him. Like he moved to Wyoming and showed up and was like, "Hey, I want a job." Right?
yeah,
Like if you follow these kids on socials, like when Kenneth is in the field a lot, like he
yeah,
every chance he gets, Kenneth is in the woods. So
yeah,
they're out there testing the gear as well, right? They're out there beating the crap out of
yeah.
it. And
Well, and they're starting to get into. I'm starting to see them on kind of what they're taking on their hunts and what packs they're using. I think those videos. I don't know whose thought that is behind a lot of their videos that they have on how they pack their stuff, what they're taking in the field for an early spring bear or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Man, whoever did that, great job, because that helps guys like me kind of go, okay, why are they putting this here? Why are they taking this pack? Just, I mean, they're thinking of a lot of moving parts all at once.
Yeah, yeah,
But so born, all right. So let's jump into clothing because we kind of covered packs. We kind of covered your favorite packs in the Bedlam series. Let's talk about clothing. And I was first introduced to Born Primitive when you came to Alaska, and I was like, Born Primitive, like they are traditionally like kind of that workout clothing,
yeah.
kind of CrossFit clothing, like very athletic focused gear. And they shifted, and now they have an outdoor section. And you guys have probably seen me wear it on a lot of our videos. I love their pants. Like their frontier pant is amazing. I do like the waffle knit kind of shirts. I
The
love
quiver
those.
hoodie.
Yeah, those are good too, man. So give us a little background on Born Primitive and what you're doing with them.
So Born Primitive also kind of Bear Handlin kind of founded Born Primitive, that Born
Hmm.
Primitive proper, which is the athletic apparel. He kind of came up with some lifting clothing or some compression shorts for lifting, and it kind of took off as he came up with that as he was leaving
Yeah.
college. I think he played football. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he played football at Yale. So and then joined the military after college and was an officer in the Navy. He might get mad at me for saying that because I always pick on him about being an officer, but was an officer in the Navy, and then has since gotten out of the Navy just because Born Primitive's taken off, and he's got to run a business now. So
Yeah.
he started the outdoor line. Aaron helped design all of the outdoor line. And the goal with Born Primitive Outdoors is to make technical hunting apparel, but we're not doing camo patterns. And so like
Which
turkeys.
everyone, I think all gun talk hunters out there know I'm a big fan of hunting solids, if you want to call it
Yeah.
hunting solids, but more just solid, just be still, hunt the wind. You're
So
good.
our goal is to make quality clothing, but not cover it in crazy camo patterns so you can wear it more than just hunting season, right? If you want to wear the
Right.
frontier pants out to the range or to the bar with your friends after a range day, like you don't look like a nerd. Because I like
Yeah.
going to a lot of these events, seeing dudes wearing casual camo.
Nope.
I pick on the casual camo wearers quite frequently. So it's just high quality technical clothing for hunters mainly. But we also we want you to be able to wear, if you're going to pay $200 for a bomb proof pair of pants, like that's
Yeah.
the thing that kills me with a lot of these other brands like Sitka, Kuiu, First Light. I pay all
Yeah.
this money for a $200 pair of pants, but I'm not wearing them anywhere other than hunting season because they're camo, right? So and a lot of companies have started making more solids, but
Yeah.
we think
But
ours are better.
it's, but like, but then you don't have to do all the licensing and everything else, and you're getting technical clothing that'll function, and you're not spending $400, to cover a license fee or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like Born Primitive Outdoors is. I feel like you're getting a better value than what you're paying. Is
Yes,
is is the way
100%.
I feel, especially looking at the high end, like the Sitkas, the Kuyus, and stuff like that. Like, if you're looking for a solid, this is where I would go. If you're looking for a camouflage, go with whoever you want. But
Yeah.
if you want a hunting solid that you can wear to the grocery store and then go out and hunt in the same day, this is the stuff you want.
And the other thing I'll say about Born Primitive that's super cool and fun is we're kind of light and nimble right now. So
Yeah.
we have the athletic apparel side has done super well, right? And that's kind of our base, right?
Hmm.
And so if we want to design something or tweak something, or we get enough customer feedback on something, we're able to make those adjustments and develop and come out
Yeah.
with something that meets people's needs. For example, some things we have in the pipe. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for talking about it. We've got a sun shirt coming out that has
Okay.
it's UPF 30 plus. It's over UPF 30, but it says UPF 30 on the sleeve, but I know they washed more into that fabric. So
Yeah.
we've got a sun shirt coming out. Not really a hunting piece, but really good for if you're on the range in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? It's just a sun
Yeah.
shirt to keep you from getting torched, which
Yeah.
I'm on because as the summer comes along and going to the Total Archery Challenge events, and I'm sure you're the same, like you're on the range at all these
Oh yeah.
events all day long, like people in t-shirts getting your arms torched, and nobody wants skin cancer, and it seems like all my friends are getting skin cancer. So stuff like that's awesome. So we're coming out with that. We're gonna have do you have the base layers?
Yes, I love the base layers.
So we're coming out. The only reason I didn't wear the base layer in Alaska, I wore it a couple times, but it didn't
Mhm.
have a hood.
Right.
That's my biggest complaint. So they're going to come out with a light base layer that's a quarter zip,
Oh,
and it
thank
has a
goodness.
hood, and it has a
Yeah.
hood. So like that's huge. So we've got that in the pipeline. We are in the process of redesigning the Frontier pant a little bit. We're
Oh,
gonna
don't do it, man. I love that
so
pant.
so it's not bad. All we're doing, the Frontier Standard pant, we're
Yeah.
redesigning knees. We're gonna
Okay.
add, it's going to be double ply, whatever the base material is. I can't remember for the pants. We're
Right.
just going to double ply the knees, so it's that same stretch material.
Okay.
So because we like the nylon's good, and we haven't had a ton of issues, but because that ballistic nylon doesn't stretch, there is
Yeah.
a lot of extra stress on those seams. So
Yeah.
we've got that in the pipeline, and then we've got some rain gear in development right now.
Hmm.
We
That's
actually, I
cool.
think Aaron's got the first prototype of the rain gear on his way to his house, so he's going to do a bunch of testing with that rain gear. And again, just like Kifaru, right? Like
Yeah.
people, we're testing
He
it, right?
uses it.
We're beating the crap out of it in the field. And then we have a ton. We're gonna kind of, right now we offer puffy jackets, right, for kind of an outlet.
Yes.
So
Yep.
we are working on some windproof, water resistant outer shell type jackets that are a little bit more durable, because puffies aren't
Yeah.
durable, right?
No, they are not.
A puffy is not meant to be a durable item, and you cannot make a puffy jacket lightweight and bomb proof. Like it's impossible.
Yeah.
So we've got some of those in development as well. We're kind of working with them and working with the manufacturers, and then we're going to get samples. And again, once we get the samples, we're going to beat the living crap out of them. Then approve, disapprove, or make some final adjustments, and then start running those into production. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming out, and that's because we're able to be light and nimble. It's a super.
Dude, that's awesome. You guys are just filling out the line. I love to see it. Well, man, we're kind of running up to a long couple episodes here, but we'll get you back on, because we did not cover like a lot of the hunts that you have been on. I mean, you were down at Top of Texas Outfitters with Aaron Snyder shooting some aoudad at extreme angles. I want to hear about that. But I want you to get a couple of those total archery challenges under your belt and come on and talk a little bit about that, because you know what, we're all gun guys here, but I know the archery game is huge and I love it. So we'll get you back on here and talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome, man. Well, Gun Talk hunters, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles and those arrows pointed in the safe direction, and always be on the hunt.